Ella was a woman of immense wealth. Her father was a business tycoon who had built an empire from scratch. Ella had grown up in luxury with everything she ever wanted at her fingertips. But despite her riches, she was lonely. The men who approached her were either after her wealth or trying to use her family's influence. Ella wanted a man who would love her for who she truly was, not for her money. One day, while reading a book on a terrace of her mansion, an idea struck her. She decided to pretend to be poor to see if she could find someone who truly loved her genuinely. But how could she do it? Ella knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined. With her heart set on finding true love, she started to plan her new life. Ella told her parents about her plan. At first, they were shocked and tried to talk to her out of it. But Ella was determined and eventually they agreed to support her. She packed a few of her old clothes, left her credit cards and expensive jewelry behind, and took a small amount of money with her. She left the luxurious mansion and moved to a modest apartment in a quiet neighborhood. Ella had changed her appearance. She wore simple clothes, tied her hair back, and avoided wearing makeup. She wanted to blend with the people around her. No one would recognize her as the wealthy, hairless Ella. She hoped this new life would help her find the love she was looking for. To complete her disguise, Ella needed a job. She applied for a position as a waitress at a small cafe in the neighborhood. The cafe owner, Mrs. Brown, was a kind woman who treated her employees like family. Ella was hired immediately and started working the next day. She had never worked a day in her life, so the job was challenging for her, but Ella was determined to make it work. The cafe was always busy and Ella found herself learning new skills every day. She also met new people, many of whom were regular customers. They liked her humble nature and how she treated everyone with kindness. But Ella remained focused on her goal to find true love. One evening, as Ella was serving coffee to a customer, a man walked into the coffee. He was tall with dark hair and deep blue eyes. He looked around before taking a seat at the counter. Ella noticed him and felt a strange connection, but she reminded herself to stay focused. She walked over to him with a warm smile and took his order. His name is Liam, and he was new to the neighborhood. He worked as a mechanic at a nearby garage. Ella and Liam started chatting, and before getting long, they became friends. Liam would often stop by the cafe after work, and they would talk about their day. Ella enjoyed his company and she kept her true identity hidden. As weeks turned into months, Ella and Liam's friendship grew stronger. They would spend time together outside the cafe, going for walks in the park or sitting by the lake, talking about everything and anything. Ella began to seek the kind-hearted man behind Liam's tough exterior. He was caring, thoughtful, and treated her with a genuine respect. Ella found herself falling for Liam, but she was still afraid to reveal her true identity. She feared that if Liam found out she was wealthy, he might change the way he treated her. She wanted to be sure that his feelings were genuine before she told him the truth. One day, while they were sitting by the lake, Liam turned to Ella with a serious expression. He confessed that he had fallen in love with her and wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. Ella's heart raced as she heard his words. She had been waiting for this moment, but now that it was here, she was filled with fear. Would Liam still love her if he knew the truth? Ella took a deep breath and decided to tell Liam everything. She told him about her wealth background and why she decided to live as a poor woman. Liam listened carefully, his expression unreadable. When she finished, there was a long silence between them. After what felt like an eternity, Liam finally spoke. He told Ella that he understood why she had done what she did. He assured her that his love for her was real and that her wealth didn't matter to him. Ella felt a wave of relief wash over her. She found the love she has been searching for, but deep down she wondered if Liam was truly sincere. As Ella and Liam continued their relationship, Ella couldn't shake the feeling of doubt. She decided to test Liam's love one more time. She pretended that her father had cut her off from the family fortune and that she was now truly poor. She wanted to see if Liam would still love her without the possibility of wealth. Liam was surprised by the news, but didn't let it affect his feelings for Ella. He told her that they would get through it together and that he would work hard to support them both. Ella was touched by his words and felt her doubts slowly fading away. With her father's money no longer supporting her, Ella found herself struggling to make ends meet. She worked extra hours at the cafe, but it still wasn't enough. One day, Liam surprised her by offering to lend her some money to help her out. Ella was hesitant at first, but she could see the sincerity in his eyes. She accepted his offer gratefully for his support. Liam continued to help Ella whenever she needed help. He even started taking on extra work at the garage to earn more money. Ella was moved by his selflessness and knew that she had found a man who truly loved her for who she was. Just as things seemed to be going well, Liam fell seriously ill. He was diagnosed with a rare condition that required expensive treatment. Without hesitation, Ella offered to pay for his medical bills, but Liam refused. He didn't want her to feel obligated to help him because of his condition. Ella was heartbroken. She wanted to help the man she loved, but Liam's pride wouldn't allow it. She watched helplessly as he grew weaker each day, knowing that there was little she could do. As Liam's condition worsened, Ella knew she couldn't just sit by and do nothing. She decided to go against Liam's wish and secretly paid for his treatment. She hoped that one day he would understand why she did it. The doctors assured her that Liam's condition would improve with the right care. Liam was confused when he started receiving the treatment he needed. He asked the doctors how it was being paid for. They wouldn't give him a straight answer. Ella kept her secret, praying that Liam would forgive her when he finds out. Liam's wealth slowly began to improve and Ella was overjoyed to see him getting better. But her joy was short-lived when Liam discovered that she had paid for his treatment. He was hungry and felt betrayed that she had gone behind his back. Ella tried to explain that she did it out of love, but Liam was too hard to listen. He told Ella that he needed time to think and walked away, leaving her standing alone with tears in her eyes. Ella was devastated. She had only wanted to help the man she loved, but now she feared she had lost him forever. Days turned into weeks, and Ella had nothing from Liam. She continued to work at the cafe, but her heart wasn't in it anymore. She missed Liam terribly and regretted not respecting his wishes. Ella's friends at the cafe noticed her sadness, but shouldn't tell them what had happened. Ella spent her days thinking about Liam and wondering if he would ever come back. She knew she had made a mistake, but she didn't know how to fix it. The loneliness was almost unbearable and Ella began to lose hope. One evening, just as Ella was closing up the cafe, she heard the doorbell ring. She turned around to see Liam standing in the doorway, looking healthier than she had seen him in days. Her heart skipped a beat. as she met his gaze. Liam walked over to her and took her hands in his. He apologized for how he had reacted and told her that he had realized she was only trying to help. He admitted that his pride had gotten in the way, but he couldn't deny how much he loved her. Ella's eyes filled with tears as she hugged him tightly, relieved to have him back in her life. With Liam back in her life, Ella felt a renewed sense of hope. They decided to put the past behind them and start afresh. Ella continued to live her modest life, and Liam respected her decision to stay true to who she was. They made plans for their future together, and Ella finally felt at peace. But Ella's journey was far from over. Little did she know more challenges were waiting just around the corner. One day, a mysterious stranger appeared in the neighborhood. He was a wealthy businessman who had recently moved into the area. His name was Mr. Adams. He quickly became the talk of the town. He was charming, well-dressed, and always surrounded by people eager to please him. Ella couldn't help but to notice how people flocked to Mr. Adams. He was everything that she had once been, a person with wealth and influence. But there was something about him that made her uneasy. Despite his outward charm, Ella felt a hidden darkness beneath his smile. One afternoon, Mr. Adams walked into the cafe where Ella worked. He introduced himself and made casual conversation, but Ella could sense his curiosity about her. He asked her about her life, where she came from, and what brought her to this small town. Ella gave vulgar answers, keeping her guards up. She didn't trust him, and she wasn't ready to reveal anything about her past. Over the next few days, Mr. Adams kept appearing to the cafe, always asking questions and trying to engage Ella in the conversation. She did her best to keep things professional, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he was digging for something. Liam noticed Mr. Adams' interest in Ella and grew concerned. He warned Ella to be careful around him, sensing that Mr. Adams might have bad intentions. But Ella reassured Liam that she could handle herself. She didn't want to worry him, especially now that they were rebuilding their relationship. As time passed, Mr. Adams' interest in Ella became more apparent. He would linger at the cafe, watching her every move. Ella began to feel uncomfortable, but she didn't want to make a scene. She knew that drawing attention to herself would risk exposing her true identity. One evening, as Ella was leaving work, Mr. Adams approached her outside the cafe. He offered to walk her home, but Ella politely declined. Mr. Adams insisted, saying it wasn't safe for a woman to walk alone at night. Reluctantly, Ella agreed, but she kept her distance as they walked. During the walk, Mr. Adams finally revealed his true intentions. He had done some research and discovered Ella's true identity as a wealthy heiress, Ella. He told her that he had recognized her from a photo in the magazine and had been following her ever since. Mr. Adams confessed that he was intrigued by her decision to live as a poor woman and wanted to understand why she had given up her luxurious life. Ella was stunned. She had been so careful, yet Mr. Adams had seen through her disguise. She felt a wave of panic as she realized that her secret was no longer safe. Mr. Adams assured her that he couldn't reveal her true identity to anyone. But Ella didn't trust him. She knew she had something to gain from keeping her secret. Ella's mind raced as she tried to figure out what to do next. She knew that Mr. Adams had the power to ruin everything she had worked so hard to achieve. If a word got out about her identity, her search for a genuine love would be over, and she would be back where she started, surrounded by people who only care about her money. Mr. Adams made it clear that he wanted something in return for keeping her secret. He proposed a deal. He would stay silent about her true identity if she agreed to go on a few dates with him. She felt trapped, knowing that she couldn't risk exposing herself by refusing him outright. Ella agreed to the deal but vowed to find a way out. She would play along for now, but she wouldn't let Mr. Adams control her life. She knew she had to be careful and plan her next move wisely. As Ella began her recurrent dates with Mr. Adams, she found herself caught in a web of lies. She had to pretend to enjoy his company while keeping her true feelings hidden. It was exhausting, but Ella knew she had no choice. She wouldn't risk Mr. Adams revealing her secret. Liam noticed the change in Ella's behavior. She seemed distant and distracted, and he wouldn't understand why. Ella didn't want to burden Liam with the truth, so she told him that she was just tired from work. But the guilt of lying to him was eating away at her. Ella's nights were sleepless as they wrestled with her conscience. She knew that if Liam found out the truth, it would break his heart, but she wouldn't see a way out of the situation without putting everything at risk. Ella knew she had to act quickly. She couldn't continue living under Mr. Adams' control, but she needed to find a way to protect herself and Liam. After much thought, she came up with a risk plan. She would gather evidence of Mr. Adams' true intentions and use it against him. If she could prove that he was trying to blackmail her, she would turn the table and force him to leave her alone. Ella started by carefully recording conversations, making sure to capture any incriminating statements Mr. Adams made. She also began researching his background, hoping to find something she would use against him. It was dangerous work, but Ella knew it was the only way to free herself from this gossip. One evening, while Ella was recording a conversation with Mr. Adams, he suddenly became suspicious. He noticed a small recorder hidden in her purse and demanded to know what she was doing. Ella's heart raced and she tried to come up with an excuse, but Mr. Adams wasn't convinced. He grabbed her purse and found the recorder, his face twisted with hunger. Ella thought it was over. She had been caught and now Mr. Adams would surely expose her secret. But instead of going to the authorities, he decided to handle things himself. He threatened to ruin her life if she ever tries to cross him again. Ella knew she had to push her luck too far and had no choice but to back down, at least for now. With her plan failed, Ella was at loss. She couldn't fight Mr. Adams on her own, and she couldn't tell Liam the truth without putting him in danger. She needed help, but there was no one she could turn to. Her wealth family was far away and she couldn't risk involving them in this mess. In her desperation, Ella considered reaching out to the police, but she knew that exposing her true identity could still dire consequences. She was stuck in a dangerous situation with no clear way out, but Ella wasn't ready to give up. Just when Ella thought all hope was lost, she met someone who would help her. One day, while at the cafe, she overheard a conversation between two customers. They were talking about a private investigator who had recently moved to town. He was known for his ability to solve any difficult cases. Ella felt a glimmer of hope. She decided to seek out the investigator and see if he could help her. She knew it was a long shot, but she had nothing to lose. Ella found a private investigator, a man named Mr. Heiress. He told him her story. She explained the situation with Mr. Adams and asked her for his help in gathering evidence to bring him down. Mr. Heiress agreed to take on the case, but he warned Ella that it wouldn't be easy. Mr. Adams was a powerful man and they have to be careful. Mr. Heiress and Ella began working together to collect evidence against Mr. Adams. They followed him, recorded his conversation, and dug into his past. The more they uncovered, the more dangerous the situation became, but Ella was determined to see it through, no matter the cost. As Mr. Heiress continued his investigations, he uncovered something shocking. Mr. Adams wasn't just interested in Ella because of her wealth. He had a personal grudge against her family. Years ago, Ella's father had unknowingly destroyed Mr. Adams' business, leaving him bankrupt. Mr. Adams had spent years rebuilding his life, and now he was determined to take revenge on their family. Ella was horrified by the revelation. She realized that Mr. Adams' interest in her was part of her large plan to destroy her family. She knew she had to act quickly before things got even worse. Armed with the evidence that Mr. Heiress had gathered, Ella decided it was time to confront Mr. Adams. She arranged to meet him at the park where she could confront him without attracting attention. Mr. Heiress would be nearby, ready to step in if things go out of the hand. When Mr. Adams arrived, Ella confronted him with the evidence they had gathered. She told him that she knew about his plans for revenge and she wouldn't let him ruin her life. Mr. Adams was furious, but Ella stood her ground. She warned him that if he didn't leave her and her family alone, she would take the evidence to the police and expose her true intentions. Mr. Adam realized he was conned. He knew that if Ella went to the police, it would be the end of him. He tried to threaten her one last time, but Ella remained firm. She told him that she wasn't afraid anymore and that she would do whatever it takes to protect the people she loves. Seeing that he had no other choice, Mr. Adams backed down. He agreed to leave town and never bother her again. Ella watched as he walked away, feeling a mix of relief and exhaustion. She had finally won, but she knew that the battle had taken its toll on her. As Mr. Adams disappeared into the distance, Ella allowed herself to breathe again. Ella turned to the cafe where Mr. Heiress was waiting for her. He assured her that Mr. Adams would no longer be a threat. Ella thanked him for his help and paid him for his services, and grateful that he had found someone she would trust. With the truth out in the open, Ella and Liam were finally free to plan their future together. They decided to leave the small town behind and start afresh in a place where they would build a life together without the shadow of Ella's past hanging over them. Ella reached out to her family and told them about everything that had happened. Her parents were proud of her for standing up for herself and for finding love on her own terms. They offered their support and welcomed Liam into the family with open arms. This is the end of my story, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for stopping this far. Kindly subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, guys, to my channel for more loving stories. I love you all. Bye bye.